Hello everyone. Good evening to you all. Or should I say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are so excited to have you this evening. We should be started in a few minutes. So meanwhile, you can relax, prepare your writing documents, make sure you have somewhere to jot down something, because when you have such thought leaders, something powerful might just proceed from their mouths and you want to take it home with you. So prepare your writing materials as we wait for our time to start. We should be started in a few minutes, and we are looking forward to an exciting time. Thank you so much for joining in time. Mainda Kiwelu, Laika Kanyana, Rachel Wanga, Marita Lumbasi, Jen Guri, and of course, our three panelists for the day are already here. We have Coach Janet, we have Natalie Mathenge, and we have Olive Gitau. We shall see them at the due time. Karibuni sana. We've had like two pre-launch webinars. This is actually our third episode. We've had already 4 ladies have spoken to us. And now today we have this set of 3. And you can be sure something exciting is coming up. Be ready. We have shared a registration link in the chat. If you have someone you would want to be part of this conversation, you can just share with them the link. They can join us. Also feel free to share on your socials. We are live on YouTube, Thank you so much. You will glad you came. To those who are just joining us, karibuni sana. We should be started in a minute or so. We are so excited to have you today. Today we have 3 women leaders going to talk to us. And I know for sure that at least everyone will pick something to take home with them. So it is time. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining our pre-launch webinar for today. This is the pre-launch for The Way She Leads, an anthology featuring 13 voices by 13 women leaders who are sharing great lessons and insights from their leadership experiences. We have a launch of the book coming up on the 1st of November at the Trademark Hotel. But before then, we just want these ladies, a part of them. Today we have 3 of them. Sorry. Today we have 3 of them joining us just to share with us a little bit. The big day is coming. Conversation. So we are prepared, just to get to hear more from them. So today are 3 powerful ladies alphabetically. The first name will be my guide. So I'll be calling in the order that their first is Janet. Janet, when I call you, I would like you to bring your face on video so we can get to see you. So our first panelist of the day is Janet Kariuki. I will briefly introduce Janet, but will later elaborate more about herself, giving us an overview of her leadership and professional background. So Janet is an ICF accredited career, executive and leadership development coach, and learning and leadership development practitioner with 10 plus years of experience in delivering highly impactful executive, performance management, and career transition coaching programs for over 1,500 individuals. She partners with organizations to build performance-focused teams. I will not want to say more about her because we are here with her. I will later proceed and elaborate more about herself. Coach Janet, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Dottie, and good evening, everyone. So as Dottie alluded, yes, I am a career and a leadership coach, and basically I'm a learning and development professional. An overview of who I am. So I am a leader developer. I work with leaders and organizations to develop impactful leaders. And where does this come from? It comes from a lot in terms of something I call quantum leaps. Having evolved, because the only word I can use is evolved, and transformed from one level to another due to a lot of internal work, a lot of transformation. And it's these thinking pattern, it's this thought that you can transform who you are. You can be who you are as a leader, as a professional. If you focused on developing yourself, if you looked at what you have, the greatness that you have in you, you can be able to transform. So it's these mindset and these thoughts that I use every day in delivering and supporting leaders, and as well as working with organizations to be able to get the best out of the leaders. And for me, the greatest thing is having everyone go to work that they love. And saying that I work and I love the work I do. As a leadership and learning developer, I work to develop people. I love seeing people achieving their best potential. I love people getting jobs and roles that they love doing and they want to thrive in. Because in my work, I get to meet a lot of professionals midway. Somebody who is a senior CEO, C-suite, or a mid-level professional who is in banking to a very senior level, but wants all of a sudden to change and maybe be a psychologist or change, because there are things that we found ourselves evolving into roles, that jobs that were there, courses that we did. And this is what my story and who I have become has evolved over. Finding your true self and doing things that are very true to you and professional, and doing work, because we spend a lot of time at work. You'd rather do something you love doing, something that's growing you. Yeah. Anything else, Dottie, I can add? And maybe to add it all, I'm a mom of 2 and I'm married. And yeah, I love coaching. I love developing leaders. That's it, Dot.
Thank you, Janet Kariuki, for that powerful intro. Thank you for that powerful intro. We are getting to know you. We hope to get to know you even better as the conversation continues. So our next panelist is Natalie. Natalie Mathenge. You can bring your face to the video so we can see you, your face to the screen so we can get to see you. So Natalie, I'll briefly say something about you. but will allow you the opportunity to let us know who you are. Natalie is a management consultant with over 20 years of HR professional experience and skill in and across a broad spectrum of human resource practice areas. She has worked in consulting and HR practice across a variety areas within HR practice, including in transformation, strategy and operations improvement for clients in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, and South Africa, amongst others. We are so glad to have you, Natalie. May you please elaborate on this introduction and just give us an overview of what your professional career background looks like. Karibu sana.
Asante sana, Dottie. Thank you very, very much. And it's a pleasure to be here. I hope you can hear me. I hope my audio is clear.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, as you mentioned, I'm a HR professional, been in HR for over 20 years, started my career in a small boutique consulting firm and then moved into Big Four consulting. I've had a lot of experiences, a lot of exciting experiences. As you rightly put, my experience is not just in Kenya, it's in the region. But more importantly, I have worked with amazing people along my journey. Leadership is not a singular journey. You grow and you learn through the effort of others and interaction with others. And I've worked with amazing, amazing people over the years. A lot of young people with a lot of potential, a lot of people who come ahead of me, who have had the experience that they have then passed on to me, have groomed me, have sharpened me. Iron must sharpen iron. Iron is not sharpened by wood. So I have to say that that fruitful career that you just described has been sharpened by a lot of iron along the way. Iron that has been more senior to me, iron that has been at the same level at me, and iron that has been perhaps younger in their journey than I have been. A lot of my experiences have led me to just discover that, to be an effective professional, whether you're a leader or not, you must have mastery of self. And for me, mastery of self is really about being a disciplined individual. I am very disciplined in everything that I do. I believe in being effective in the work that I do. And I enjoy just making sure that the people I'm working with are learning and growing. If people are not learning and growing from you, then I'm not sure what you're doing as a leader. That's my personal belief. And I hold myself to that standard, and I'm happy to be challenged to that. But I also believe that it's important that you also learn and unlearn as you grow in your career, in whichever way your career goes. And as you develop as an individual, the ability to learn and unlearn habits is extremely critical. And it's not just critical for you to be able to go up the ladder, but it's a question of sustainability. Are you sustainable as a professional? Or are you just there with skills that expired 100 years ago in ways that no longer fit? Are you learning? Are you unlearning? And are you leaving room and space for others to come and overtake you? That really is who I am as a professional, Dottie, and let me leave it at that. Over to you.
Thank you, Natalie, for that detailed intro. We are so glad to have you today. And like I said, we are looking forward to getting to know you more. As you have conversation with people, then you get to know what is in their heart. So we are preparing ourselves to get to hear more from you. And with that, I go to our third panelist of the day. And this is none other than Olive. Olive, please bring your face to the screen. We want to see you. Olive Gitau. Yes, and that is Olive. So Olive, you're very welcome. We are honored to have you today. I'm going to do a brief intro of yourself. I will do a brief intro of yourself, but will allow you to give us the details of the same, even covering your leadership, professional background, just to help us get to know you better. So Olive is an internal audit, risk management, and public over experience, advising on and implementing effective internal second leave, you can take it from there to know you more. Karibu sana. I'll be breaking.
Thank you, Dottie. I actually wanted to ask Natalie, is it my network or am I losing you? Is it on my side or it was on Dottie's side?
No, I think she's having a
Okay.
problem. I've texted her.
Ah, okay, great. Okay. I was a bit concerned. Yeah. Okay. So good evening, and thank you so much, Dottie, for that introduction. I think I will, of course, run with the rest just to appreciate Janet and Natalie, who have gone before me and just laid the carpets, rolled it, very high standards. But just to be thankful that I have this opportunity just to share about myself and my journey, and hopefully be able to have a conversation with those who are joining us today. So I think, as Dottie said, professionally, I mean, I think I definitely am on another spectrum from Natalie and Janet. They are more onto humanities. Some of us are onto the numbers. So I'm an accountant by profession, but I have pivoted towards internal audit and risk management. I love numbers. That has been my passion, and I found myself just feeding myself into numbers naturally. But of course, you still have other hobbies that are still on the side. I love baking, so that is something else I do on the side. So kitchen work and everything, that is me. But that is, I think, not for today. That's for another time, but it might come into the conversation. Yeah, and so over my about 17, 18 years of working experience, I've had the honor and pleasure of just relating with different individuals, organizations, institutions. I have mainly been within the what you would call government circles, but now I'm in private sector. I worked at Kenya Revenue Authority. Tax matters, please feel free to talk to me. I can help you out. Then I stayed my longest at the Central Bank of Kenya. That's where I worked longest for about 14 years. And I think that's one of the areas that really grew me and made me a better part of who I am today in terms of my leadership journey. And now at KMRC, which is Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company, we are promoting sustainable home ownership. And that is one area that a place that, according to Janet's words, I find I belong. I enjoy what I'm doing every single day because I see there is a lot of purpose in what we're doing, enabling Kenyans to own homes, to just find that financial freedom towards their own personal journey, financial personal journey to being homeowners. So with that, I'm really thankful for this opportunity to be where I am right now. In terms of course, with that, of course, comes a lot of, I keep saying, if someone in high school told me that reading continues, after high school, Form 4, I remember they were saying, I am waiting for outside world. I get out there and I stop reading. My God, I don't know what I would have done because honestly speaking, reading does not end. It continues. It is a learning process every single day. And so I have been able to just keep myself in that journey of learning and reading and getting new skills because the world keeps evolving around us. And with that, with all those emerging trends and ways that keep coming, then it means I too need to upskill myself, and I found myself in that journey. So I initially did, of course, my bachelor's, my master's, and my CPAs, being an accountant. But besides that, I've found myself doing a certification in risk management, which is an area I'm passionate about, and I train in that as well. I've done a certification in internal audits, which is my area of expertise as well. I have recently, actually like just 2 weeks ago, finished an online course on sustainable finance. Oh my God, I think it was one of my hardest courses to do because of the way my schedule is so busy, but you have timelines. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is my professional journey continues. It has not ended. This is not the end, and we are learning. And thank you, Dottie, for just giving me this opportunity just to introduce myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Olive. It's beautiful hearing your introductions from the three of you. We are getting to know you. More is yet to come, even as we continue with our conversation. So keeping my order of alphabetical order, I would want our panelist, Jane Kariuki, to just help us know, Jane, what motivated you to share your story in the anthology, The Way She Leads, and what do you hope to achieve by doing this?
Thank you so much, Dottie. And I think that's why I'm transforming my name to Wangari. I realize when I call myself Janet, everybody calls me Jane. Thank you so much.
Sorry for that.
What motivated me to share? I was inspired to share my story because I believe in the power of shared experience to shift mindset and inspire change. And as a coach, I have seen firsthand how narratives can redefine how people see themselves and their potential. I wanted to contribute to this anthology, just amplify. I believe in what you call the realms of imagination. And once you open and see people in a particular position, and you can be able to see the journey, how they got there, you see yourself in them. It is easy to have the hope and the dream to say that I have been able, I can be able to achieve a lot. And maybe I've not achieved as I wish, because still have a long way to go, but I have made a transition. I have made a transformation, both for myself and for the leaders and the professionals that I've worked with. And I find that after working with ladies and leaders, professionals, I wanted to just voice the power of visualization, the power of clarity of a goal, the power of resilience, the power to say that I was once teaching in a very rural place, and I have also sat in a global conference and delivered and built leaders in over 17 countries, both in Latin America, Asia, Europe, and such. And it is due to the power of resilience, the power of clarity of goal, the power of how do you get there. Sometimes we see people who've gotten there and we are like, oh, they got there, but then they're human and there is a journey and a process. And having to appreciate the journey and the process is what I want to share in the story and in today's session.
Thank you, Janet. I have remembered not to call you Jane again. Thank you, Janet, for that.
You can call me Wangari.
Wangari.
But
I just
Janet
hope
is okay.
I'll be keen enough to keep it Janet.
Okay, thanks.
So that we don't baptize you during a pre-launch condition. Thank you so much for that. And Natalie, I get back to you. And I would want you to answer the same question. Please share with us, what was your motivation to writing your story, to sharing your story in the anthology, The Way She Leads, and what do you hope to achieve with it?
Thank you for that, Dottie. Coach Wangari is so amazing and so powerful when she speaks. I still have goose pimples, so so let me first of all acknowledge that she's so amazing and she's so powerful. But in terms of my inspiration, first and foremost, I absolutely enjoy writing. If you give me something for writing, I will jump at it. I absolutely enjoy it. So from a purely selfish perspective, I absolutely enjoy writing. It's something that's very amazing for me in terms of self-expression. But perhaps from a leadership perspective, and getting back into your question, is I am a believer and a champion of sharing knowledge and experiences. I truly believe that only when we share knowledge and experiences do we thrive as people, as communities, as societies. And for me to get where I've gotten is because people share their knowledge and their experiences with me. So I want to share knowledge and experiences with others. What has gotten me here, what worked for me. It's not to say it will work for everybody, but it's to show that you can make a difference in whatever space you are in. So from a personal perspective, and just drawing on that last statement of you can make a difference, is I really believe in, if you recall Wangari Maathai, I really talked a lot about the hummingbird and making a difference like a hummingbird. if I just talk to you about the characteristics of a hummingbird is very, very small. It's a very tiny bird with a very long beak. It has no sense of smell and is terrible with colors, but it is one of the most proficient and prolific pollinators of flowers and plants in the world. It can travel over 500 miles. It is an amazing bird. And in that small space, can you imagine how many flowers it pollinates? And those flowers translate into food that feeds global populations. And in that small size, when it flaps its wings, they're so loud that you can hear. That's why it's called a hummingbird. It sounds like it's humming. So imagine such a small creature making such a huge difference. I believe that's what the written word is about. It's a small thing. It's just writing, but it makes such a huge difference. It impacts people so differently. It touches people to do things so greatly. Just think about that and think about the hummingbird and think about Wangari Maathai and the impact she made and what impact writing and sharing knowledge can do. So that all the ladies and all the gents, because there are men on this call as well, for everybody, every little thing that you do has an impact. You don't have to be on a forum such as this one. You don't have to be acknowledged. You don't have to be called Mweshimiwa. You don't have to be called so-and-so. You just have to make an impact in the space that you're in. And that's really what leadership is about. You just can make an impact. So think about the hummingbird. Think about how Wangari Maathai prominently drew lessons from that little hummingbird and just learn to share. Because when you share knowledge, other people are open to sharing knowledge with you. So you learn, you grow your networks, you form new connections. If you don't share knowledge, you don't speak out, if you don't allow other people to see what your experience is, then how then do you expect to thrive? How will other people thrive? That's what communities thrive on. That's what drives us forward. So for me, that purely selfish because I enjoy writing, but really from a less selfish perspective is I am a sharer of knowledge and I do believe in sharing experiences. And I love to learn from other people. So that really was my motivation. Thank you very much, Dottie.
Thank you, Natalie, and thank you for sharing the knowledge with us. Appreciate that. We proceed to our third panelist of the day, and this is Olive Gitau. Olive, I will ask you the very same question. Please let us know what motivated you to share your story, the way she leads, and what you do hope to achieve with it. Olive?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dottie. And thank you, Natalie, for that analogy of the hummingbird. It is always profound. Every time you listen to, you hear it, you are like, I know every little drop makes a difference, makes a whole lot of difference. And actually that's part of what I will talk about as we continue with this conversation. Otherwise, Dottie will tell me I am letting the cat out of the bag, and I don't want to do that. So
please,
in terms of motivation, okay, yeah, let it stay in the bag. So motivation. Okay, let me share. Let me start with sharing a personal story that encouraged me to speak more about me and my experiences. About 3 years ago, I lost my mom-in-law. And now when I lost my mom-in-law, my husband is like the firstborn male. So traditionally, we're all Africans here, most of us, I believe. You know what that means. It means now the first male of the family takes responsibility for the extended, for the home. And that in essence means what? I, as a wife, become the mother of the of the whole home. Now, here I am, less than 40 years old, being told I am now in charge of a whole clan of people. I'm like, how do I do that? I don't know how to do that. How do I learn to do that? And that found me in a space where I had to, okay, let's just say first I was in denial. I was like, no, I am below 40. I am in my 30s. These are not responsibilities that I'm willing to take. Please, can you give me a break? I want to still enjoy my youth and enjoying myself. But I think just a few months down the line, it just dawned on me that, you know what, you just can't run away from your responsibilities. You never saw it coming, but it is what it is, and it is where you are. And now that means you've got to embrace it with all that you have. And so that's what I needed to do, and I sought to do. And thankfully, I got myself in what we call Mothers Union. I registered as a Mothers Union so that I can learn some tips from the older women. By then, this was actually one of the main reasons I registered for Mothers Union, is so that I can get tips on how to do some of these things from those who have gone ahead of me. And it was so real to sit with older women and to hear them sharing their stories unfiltered, like literally unfiltered. And that gave me so much freedom to actually want to speak about me with the little that I have done over my 40 years of life. I too can be able probably to speak to even one person who is in their 19, their 20s, and they're trying to navigate life and to figure out what is it that they need, how do they need to go about it. And that actually is what really motivated me to speak and to write my story and just to share my journey. So that if not for any reason, if I could just, at least resonate with even just one person, so they can know that we all share similar experiences, may not be the same, but you may be able to learn from someone else's journey and know what to do when you're navigating different aspects of your life. So that was one main reason that motivated me to write and to speak and just to talk about my journey. Yeah. Thank you, Dottie.
Thank you, Olive. That is interesting. But the Bible says that younger women should learn from the older women. So you did the right thing. And look, here you are today sharing. There's a younger woman somewhere listening to you and also picking something that will be helpful in their life. Now, allow me to recognize the presence of your co-authors. In the panel, part of our panelists are only 3 of the 13 of the entire team that did the anthology. So some of them are here with us today. It is an honorable thing just to recognize their presence. So just mentioning their names. If I don't mention your name and you're in here, probably my eye is not catching you. I would want to make sure that everyone is recognized. We have Linda Moria, who has been here since the beginning. Karibu. Linda, thank you for the support. We have Eva Gitau. Eva was speaking in the previous pre-launch webinar, and she's here today just to be part of the conversation. And we have Elishiba. Elishiba, it's a good thing to have you around. Thank you for joining. If you have joined us and you're part of the co-authors of the book, The Way She Leads, please just lift your hands so that you don't go unrecognized. Thank you so much. So with that, we proceed. And I get back to, I will refer to you as our very, Julia Titai. Yes, I saw a hand there. Thank you, Julia, for joining. We are glad to have you. Who else is in here that I've not recognized? Just by show of hand and I'll get to know you're in here. Okay, it seems I've recognized everyone. So karibuni sana. Thank you for joining. So I'm back to you, Janet. We would want to know, Catherine Nyaga. I can't keep mom. I have to say it as soon as I see the hand up. Catherine, we are excited to have you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So as we continue, I'm back to Janet. And my question for you, Janet, is, what challenges did you face while writing your chapter? And how did you overcome that?
Thank you so much. And I want to just appreciate the 2 ladies, Natalie and Olive, in terms of sharing their story, especially that Mother Union bit. And the hummingbird was just hitting it home. It's just amazing to share the platform with you. Talking about the challenge I face, and there's what we call occupational hazards. And my occupational hazard is holding spaces for people. is listening to people's stories, and is just being able to let other people's insights and vulnerabilities come out, and be able to let them retrospect, create awareness, be more aware of themselves, be able to reach into their potentials, be able to face their fears. It's such a different story when the spotlight is turned and it's you, and it's your turn. It's your turn to share your vulnerability. It's a turn to share your stories, some stories that you didn't share publicly to everyone, those you know, those you don't. And it is that real awakening of the vulnerability of being able to share. At the same time, trying to balance, to convey a balance between the professional insights that I've gathered through my work, through my life, and personal vulnerability, so that you give it a human feel, so that people don't just see you as somewhere in a pedestal, and they don't know there are days where you cried, the day you felt lethargic, the days you felt like I don't have any more strength to move on. But then you keep moving on one step at a time, there's just one step at a time, and you're able to move forward. So I overcame the challenge by just staying true to the purpose of my contribution, which was sharing not just the successes, but also the moments of doubt, the moments of resilience that has shaped my journey. And this approach allowed me to write from a place of authenticity and intuition and just intention, being able to wanting to convey and being able to wanting to not only hold spaces for people, but also showing who I am and how I show up and how I've gotten here.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. We move to our next panelist, and this is no one other than Natalie Mathenge. Natalie will be answering the very same question. So I know you're prepared for that. Did you experience any challenges while you were doing your writing? And if you did, I probably believe you did, how did you overcome that? Kindly let us keep our microphones muted unless we have been granted permission to speak. Let us keep our microphones muted, please. Should also help you mute that.
Yeah, get an admin to mute. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So Natalie, you may go ahead.
Thank you for that, Dottie. Did I have challenges? Yes, I did. Of course. My challenge, so most practical challenge was purely just getting the headspace, just the time to quiet my thoughts, no phone, no emails to answer, no colleagues calling you, just the headspace to sit down and write. So from a practical perspective, it was just finding the space to quiet and still my thoughts long enough to be able to put something in writing. Outside of that, when I then found the space, then it was a challenge that I think Coach Wangari has just talked about, just being vulnerable, but beyond the vulnerability is a quality I have seen my colleague Olive displaying. She's very relatable. She's extremely relatable. Every time she gives you an example, you can see it. I joined Mothers Union. Who here does not know what Mothers Union is? We all know what Mothers Union is. Who here has not been told to join Mothers Union and has a very weird look on their face when they're asked to join Mothers? She's very relatable. And that's important in writing because, as I said, I've enjoyed writing. It's been a journey for me. But one of the things that you're always told by editors, and I'm sure you told a lot of us, was you are writing a story that is important to you, but you are not writing for yourself. You have an audience that you're trying to write to. You want to be able to connect with that audience. And that's I think for me, perhaps it was the biggest challenge is what is it that I'm trying to convey? And how do I make sure that my audience receives that? But while maintaining balance, that it is your story. So you can't always be just 100% audience focused, but you must think about them. And that's the thing about words. We know word being W-O-R-D, the importance of word. The power of the word. When it is sung, when it really has the power to move the spirit. When it is spoken, it has the power to awaken action. And when it is written, it has the power to change society. So thinking about combining what your purpose is and what you want your audience to get to bring that power to life, I think for me is the challenge. When it is sung, when it is written, when it is spoken, it is extremely powerful. So it's how then do you make your words powerful? How do they translate? How do they land? How are they received? And when they don't land and are not received and are not taken the way you wanted, how do you accept that? Because as writers, we will receive criticism. By the way, they are coming, guys, ladies, if we're not ready. They are coming. You have to be willing to take the good with the bad. So when you revive, when you bring power to life, you must also be aware that there will be those who will be trying to take power away from you or strengthen your power in a way that you may not unnecessarily receive it or see it as such. So I think for me, it was that trying to be as relatable as Olive is and balancing with that vulnerability that Coach Wangari spoke about. So over to you, Dottie. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. I like it that written word has the power to change communities. So what you're doing is actually changing communities because you have written something down. So you're part of this great move of bringing change to our communities. Thank you for that statement. I move to our next panelist, the very relatable lady, according to Natalie, Olive Gitau. Olive, did you have challenges? And if you did, what were they and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, thank you, Dottie. Now, unlike Natalie, who is a natural writer, I am not a natural writer. So, let's just say one of my weaknesses that I know I have, and every single day I am trying to deal with it, is procrastination. And so you can be sure I pushed this towards the end, the writing. And I kept telling myself, you know what, I need to do this. But now inside I was struggling with, do I share the good only? Do I share also my disappointments as well? How do I craft it? So I procrastinated a lot, just trying to figure out in my head how to actually lay it down. And at the end, I think there's various challenges, and how did I deal with it? You can be sure the timelines and the deadlines is how I dealt with it. So not any other way. So I had a timeline. I needed to do it by this time, and I just needed to do it. And so I found myself writing this late in the night. I'm more of a night person than I am a morning person. So quite for a week, about 5 days, I stayed up late until 1 a.m., 2 a.m., just trying to put the thoughts down and to lay it down and to figure out how to actually put my story. And so that, I would say, was my challenge. And of course, I keep saying God is the grand mastermind of all things. And for us, and every experience we go through, whether good or bad, defines who we are and helps us in our journey. And so through all that, I was able to deal with my procrastination, thankfully. And then a bit of, when you're trying to figure out, do I say what part of the story do I say? Which other part do I leave out? There's also that part of self-doubt. Will my writing be good enough? I think Natalie has said we shall be criticized. It's okay, let it come, because I have already criticized myself. So it is just as well, it can come. I mean, I'm all for learning. I keep saying every day is a learning day. It is a journey, and by sharing with others, then we become better people. So it is just being open to the world and letting the world walk with us our journey as well. Even as we walk the journey, then there is something someone else will teach me that will make me a better person. And so, yeah, it's dealing with the self-doubt and saying, God, this is my story. Nobody can take my story away from me. It is mine to share. And it is okay. It is okay. Just being given that freedom to share and say it is fine to actually share my story and hopefully be able to be a change and help someone or empower someone through a similar journey. So procrastination, self-doubts, and I dealt with it through deadlines and timelines, and just encouragement. That self-doubt is just encouragement that I am here where I am because the Lord ordained it for me where I am. And so it is okay. So it is for me to be vulnerable. Actually, it's what Janice says, vulnerable enough to share my journey, however small or big it is. It will help me as well as it will help someone else. Back to you, Dottie. You're muted, Dottie. You're muted.
Sorry, I'm saying thank you for that and just congratulating you because you overcame the procrastination and soon you'll be a published author. So you made it. You made it, and congratulations to you all together with the co-authors who are probably joining in and others who are not here. So to our esteemed audience, this is we have our launch coming up of 13 voices of women leaders with different leadership and professional experiences, giving their lessons, sharing their lessons and insights from their leadership experiences. This is a book you would want to get hold of and get to learn something. We will be sharing a registration link in the chat. If you want to be part of the event, of the launch event, there will be a registration link posted in the chat. You can pick it there and register. We are also availing a book pre-order form. If you want to order your book this early, there'll be a form for you to just make an order, and the book, when ready, shall be delivered to you. Also, we are availing our contacts. Should you want to get in touch with us, maybe you have questions, you have concerns, you know, there's something you want to know about us or the work we do, then there will be that information in the chat. Feel free to reach out whenever you may have a need. So we proceed with our conversation, and we are getting to the core of this conversation. We are getting to the core of this conversation. So if you have somebody you would have wanted to be part of this, maybe you forgot when the conversation was beginning, but you have just remembered, I think so-and-so would love to be in this conversation. Pick the Zoom link to sign out with them, because we are now entering into the core. We want to get a glimpse of what these ladies have talked about in their chapters. Each of these ladies has a chapter in that book. And so Janet always goes first. I love going fast because then you finish and then relax as you enjoy what others have to say after you. So Janet, we would like to get a glimpse of your chapter. What is one main issue that you have handled in your writing? Just one. Do not let the cat out of the bag.
I'll use the word resilience and maybe juggling. Let me use two and say that it's the resilience of keeping going, keeping looking, and dots make sense looking backward, not going forward. Sometimes we may not be sure of where we are headed to, especially when we are going into uncharted territories. But when you look back and see that you trusted your gut, you invested in yourself, you kept on going. When you look back, you see the beautiful collage or the beautiful mosaic or whatever beautiful thing you've made. But at this time, the only thing you can trust, and I have seen in the book, then in my life, is trust the thoughts and the action you're taking today. And if you're asking me a glimpse on one main issue, is that because I've seen myself really working hard to rise, to change, to evolve, to be the leader I want to be, to make the impact I want to make. And at some time, when I got there, sometimes I just felt, was this it? You know, sometimes you work so hard and I remember one day, it was on an evening, I was taking a flight to Dar es Salaam. And I had left my family and I didn't have a nanny and I had a 2-year-old. And when the flight took off, tears just started going down, you know? And imagining my 2-year-old with no one to take care of them, and I have to go. And this is what I have really wanted to do. And this is what I worked so hard to get. And now when I'm having it, I still have these other things. And I remember the former CEO of Pepsi saying that you never have a work-life balance, you juggle. And when you're winning in these, in the other space, you're not winning. And it's that journey and choosing every day and keeping on. Resilience is the word. Thank you so much, Dottie.
Thank you, Janet. I would love to read something here even as we continue. George Gitau says, I love the stories shared here. Very inspiring indeed. You want to read more of these stories, you have to get yourself a copy of the book. You can use the pre-order link. We have it in the chat. And when ready, the book shall be delivered to you. So these are just stories from the 3 of the 13 women. So yet to interact with the other 10. So George, thank you for that comment. The pre-order link is available not just for you, but for everyone else if you want to pre-order your book. And it will be delivered to you when ready. So we proceed with our conversation. I like the way we are being real stories from real women leaders. And that is much appreciated. We get back to Natalie, our second in order. So Natalie, we would like to get a glimpse of what you have talked about in your chapter. Is there any specific issue you have handled? What is that? Please share a little bit about it with us.
Thank you for that, Dottie. One of the things that I really explored and thought about when I was thinking about writing this article was really, who am I really? And I think I start my chapter almost or somewhere in the beginning, in the vicinity of the beginning, not to let the cat out of the bag, asking the question of who am I really? Do I know myself well enough to be able to be talking about leadership and to be guiding people? And I think self-knowledge, and please note I'm not using the term self-awareness, I'm using the term self-knowledge. Because I think there's a big difference, for me at least. And self-knowledge means, do I know who I am? Who do I say I am? How do people experience me? What are all those things that have led to me becoming Natalie today? This author, this consultant, this person, this friend, this whoever it is I am. What do I know about myself? Because can I be aware about something that I do not know? I'm not sure about that, but I feel for me, knowledge is extremely important. Knowledge being that, have I learned who I am? Have I accepted who I am? Do I really, really, really see myself as who I really am? Am I able to see myself through the eyes of others? So that then that culminates into an awareness. And then I'm then thinking about how do I then use that knowledge of who I am to the best of my ability? Which means I have to know what is good about me and what is not good about me. And I've talked about some of those things that have not been good about me. Different experiences where I have not been the good person as I should have been, or as I ought to have been, or as I could have been. Because we are human beings. We have positive and we have negative. So it's really about self-knowledge and leaning into your strengths, but not thinking that your weaknesses, unless they are really bad weaknesses, take away from who you are as a human being. This is who we are as human beings. We are both positive, we are both negative, and sometimes we are one or more of the other for whatever reason. And I think it is knowing that that will happen and knowing the circumstances that get the positive or the negative out and operating with that knowledge to then elevate yourself to self-awareness, that then is what for me is leadership. I started off by saying personal mastery is important to me. That's where personal mastery comes from. What am I good at? What am I not good at? Why am I not good at it? What can I do? What can I not do? What do I like to do? What makes me thrive? What excites me? What doesn't excite me? What also is on the negative of all of that? So that then you learn balance. And I think both Olive and Coach Wangari have talked about balance, including in being an individual, being a leader. It is about balance. But you are getting nowhere with balance if you have no awareness. And you are getting nowhere, for me, as far as I'm concerned, with awareness if there is no self-knowledge. Personal mastery, extremely important. Over to you, Dottie.
Thank you, Natalie. Personal mastery. Get to the level of self-knowledge. Do not stop at the level of self-awareness. Okay, thank you for that. I can see Olive is ready, very ready to let us know what she has written about in her chapter. So Olive, give us a glimpse of your chapter. What is this one thing you have talked about in your chapter?
No, that's a very difficult question, Dottie. I find myself, I could easily just talk about the whole chapter, but I would say, I mean, it's interesting because what Wangari has mentioned, what Natalie has mentioned, there's so much similarity, a lot of it in terms of the journey I have gone through, and even probably even what I have written about. But I would like just to probably speak about progressive growth. Growth is not an event, it is a process. You go through various experiences that progressively grow you. I know we're in the age of climate change, and we have what we call communication on progress for those of us who are sustainability champions. And what they say is you have to keep reporting to show that you are progressing one step at a time. So it's not a matter of reaching somewhere, it's a matter of showing that you're actually making strides and steps towards your goal, towards your purpose, towards where you'd like to be. And so, and progressive growth is, like Natalie has put it so well, it encompasses both the negative and the positive. Let me talk, because I recently visited with the ladies in our church. We have a mentorship program where we visit State House girls and just walk with them, even as they prepare themselves towards their exams, towards getting out there, and just to be holistic ladies. And I remember recently, last month, when we went to share with the Form 4s, and one of the stories I actually spoke with them was how it's just to allow ourselves the grace and permission to sometimes falter, because it does happen, and we beat ourselves so much when you don't meet when we fail to meet our goals, or the target you had, you don't get it there, and you find sometimes you beat yourself so much and think, I am a failure, or probably I should have done better. But when I did my Form 4, I got a B. I was aiming for a B+ so that I can do BCom, and I missed BCom main intake with 2 points. Now, I mean, it was devastating, to say the least. It was so devastating. I remember just crying, and my dad now trying to figure out, okay, so how do we help this girl here, our daughter, who this is really what she wanted to do. And my dad went out of the way and decided to check out private universities, and decided to sacrifice, both my dad and mom, to sacrifice for me to go to a private university, which I did, and I did BCom. And thankfully, I did it so well that I even saved them school fees for one term, because I was I was actually the top student that year. So I got a scholarship for a term, so which was good. And when, with hindsight, I look back and I share with others, and I say, my journey then, it felt as if I was a failure because I didn't get to, well, we all wanted to get to Kabete, Lower Kabete campus. I felt like, I didn't meet that goal of where I wanted to go, but somehow the Lord created another path. And you know what? The Lord at the end of the day is a mastermind of all our journeys and all things. And so be it something that is disappointing, and it is okay. You've got to go through that emotion and that feeling of feeling disappointed. But at the end of the day, come back and ask God to still guide you through, because he knows why he has taken you through that path and probably opened that path for you. So progressive growth is both the negative side of us and the positive side of us. And what we call negative side is when, you face disappointments and you don't understand why you had to go through that journey at that point. But it is forming you to be the person that you need to be. And so it is trusting the process, irrespective of how painful that process is, and irrespective of the emotions that you have to go through at that point, is trusting the process. And so, so being open to the ups and downs, being open to the peaks and the valleys that we will go through, and trusting that they are making us better individuals, even as we move along. So let's just say there is something on progressive growth. There is more to it. That is just, that story is not even there. So that is just for here. So there's another story there. So this I thought I needed to share because it resonates so much with me, especially even. Anyway, let's leave that. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble. Thank you. Thank you, Dottie.
Thank you, Olive, for taking care that the cat remains in the bag, because we have to purchase the bag to get the cat. So this is a pre-launch conversation. We have the launch event coming up on 1st of November at the Trademark Hotel. We are inviting all of you who have been here to just join us, even as we celebrate this great milestone of these 13, prominent, incredible women. So we have the registration link shared in the chat. If you want to be part of the launch event, you can register. If you also want to pre-order your book, we have the pre-order form available in the chat. Just find it and pre-order your book. As soon as the book is ready, you'll get your copy, and you can get to read more of these stories. Probably you missed the first pre-launch webinar. Maybe you missed the second one. You're just here today, and we still have 2 more or even more coming up. If you might not be able to join them, you want to get the book for yourself. So make a pre-order of the book. We will deliver it to you when it is ready. So we proceed with our conversation, and we are moving on well. I'm just saying that the ladies are very careful not to let the cat out of the bag. Oh, you're very keen on that, and that is good, because if you give us everything, then we will not have a reason to get a copy of the book. So let us remain wanting until we get a copy of that book. So as we proceed, the event is coming up on the 1st of November. This is a big day for all of you and for all of us. We are planning on gathering together just to celebrate you on this great work. But we would like to know, what are some of the opportunities and experiences that the attendees of the day should expect to acquire from the launch? Can you just tell us some of the opportunities that you believe and you know that this event is going to avail to the attendees of the day? And I will take this to Janet, who goes first. So Janet, give us a promise of
great
something.
Opportunity. Thank you, Dottie. And I just want to take it on from what Olive said. It's like about failure. And failure is such a powerful tool. And it's the power of failure. And usually people say, and I think research, and it's true, we learn very little from success, but we learn a lot from failure. That when I support as a career coach, when I support professionals, I work to give them tool sets, skill set, and mindset in terms of taking failure as feedback from the market. is you're eyeing a CEO position and you get regret, take it as feedback from the market. How do you repackage your product? How do you redo it again? So you asked me, what opportunities and experiences can attendees anticipate to acquire in the book launch? They anticipate to get a polished reflection of a career journey and a reflection of growth. And as Olive said, progressive growth. And lessons curated from life and given in one sitting or in one book, you know. It's about how are you as, just the feeling of a different perspective of what career is, a different perspective of what growth into leadership and into jobs that you are very passionate about, roles that are going to grow you and impact the world, into realizing that we are not just employees and professionals, we are a business of one. And that will be like giving them into opening up realm into your possibilities, your opportunities as high and as far as your imagination can go. You'll never get what is beyond what you've not imagined. So the opportunity to not limit our dreams, because it does not matter. As long as you're dreaming, you'd rather dream scary, big dreams. And how do we walk back from the dreams into making them a reality? That is what I would offer in the launch.
What a great offer. I'll be there by default. Otherwise, if I wasn't, then I would be making way to find myself there. So I'll have the privilege of getting more of that. Thank you for that. That's a good promise. You want to be a partaker of that on the day, 1st of November, 2024 at the Trademark Hotel. Natalie, can you team up with Janet and let us know what more experience should we be expecting when we get to come together to celebrate you on that day?
Thank you, Dottie. Imagine, everything that Coach Wangari has talked about, everything in a beautiful venue, beautiful colors, beautiful decor, beautiful people. Imagine all of that in one space and unlocking the power of networking. I mean, it's the new gold. Why wouldn't you want to be part of this? Just imagine that and imagine missing out on that. Imagine coming to one place where you can see everyday people doing great things and impacting lives, and seeing great people doing ordinary things that impact our lives. That's all it is. Just an opportunity for that, a beautiful event that does that. And I will leave it at that, because even for this one, I don't think we want to be telling everybody. We want to just make them excited and hungry for it, but not tell them everything. So back to you, Dottie.
Beautiful people, beautiful place, beautiful everything. Who doesn't want to be part of that? We are so looking forward to that day. We have more of our co-authors who just joined in. I'll be requesting her just by show of hand. If you just joined in, I didn't get to mention your name earlier on, please let us see you by a show of hand. We want to recognize you. You have done this work together and you're here to support each other. That is very much appreciated. Jen Mburia, I can see you there. Thank you for joining. Help me by raising your hand if you're there and you're part of the authors of the book, The Way She Leads. Yes, Jen is there. Karibu sana, Jen. Thank you for joining. I already introduced Eva, but my eye can still pick you. Thank you for staying. Yes, it feels good just to have your peers coming together to be of support as you speak. So we appreciate that very much. Olive, we now get to you. We are getting good promises here. I know this will be tempting. Anybody would want to be part of that celebration that day. What do you have to promise the attendees of the day?
Thank you, Dottie. I don't even know what to add after Wangari said polished reflection. lessons curated in one sitting. I'm like, Allah, those words, they can actually literally just, carry you to the venue, literally just carry you. And then Natalie just added with the beautiful people and beautiful place, and who would want to miss that? So yeah, I think definitely the opportunity to meet ordinary ladies who have done extraordinary things in their own unique ways. And to give you that opportunity just to interact with them, have a conversation, and realize these are ladies just like you and me, as in, we are not made any difference. We are cut from the same cloth. Tunamwaga damu tukianguka ama tukikatakata kitunguu kwa kitchen, and you have forgotten, you haven't done that in a while, and then sure, you just cutter yourself a bit. I mean, we are the same. We go through similar experiences, and it would be good just to have those conversations together. So that opportunity to network, that opportunity to see unfiltered conversations, and vulnerability in its whole true self, because of course we'll be sharing part of our lives with you, probably snippets of the book when we are there, and the opportunity just to be empowered as an individual, and as your cup is filled, you fill someone else's cup. And so as the Lord has filled ours, we fill yours, and we get ourselves also to be filled, because when we interact with you, you help us also to be better individuals. So we haven't arrived. I don't think we will ever arrive. So we are saying, can we journey together? Help us to learn more also about ourselves, even as we go through this journey of leadership, as we share our life's experiences. And yeah, I guess insights of making yourself a better you, just those insights, those lessons that will help you see the glass as half full as opposed to half empty, something that will uplift your spirits, something that, when ladies just congregate, there are always emotions. Both extremes, very happy emotions and, happy tears. At the same time, someone could be probably sharing an experience of maybe a sad time of their life. And those are tears that could be shared, but, but those ones of embrace and vulnerability and relating with one another. And I believe that's what we bring to the table, just our truest selves, our honest selves, and just our authenticity, and being unfiltered just as we are, and being vulnerable for you to share with us as we share with you, and to ask questions, and to interact. And we don't have all the answers. We too are learning, but just that space, that free space to be there and interact, I think in itself is beautiful, and it just opens us up to a lot that could go on. Dottie, allow me, just as I finish, just to to put a shout out. I have seen my mother has joined the webinar. So
wow.
Yes, just shout out to my mom who has joined. Now, just to disclose and to be honest, why I had a lot of self-doubts and asking myself questions. So am I able to do this? Is because my mother has done 6 books. So how I know I can see you, Natalie. I know you're like, how do I even match to someone who is very good in writing? But as I've shared, we bring ourselves just as we are, and we are ready to learn and to make our own individual journeys as we move. Thank you.
Wow. Ordinary ladies who have done extraordinary things in their own unique ways. This is a group of people every other leader would want to interact with. So we are so looking forward to the networking that will be happening on that day. And we've said even in the previous pre-launch webinars, you just never know when you get to meet someone who is supposed to help you into your next phase of life or into your next phase of career. And here, these ladies are offering us an opportunity to get to interact with them, network with them. You just never know. So this is a celebration you don't want to miss. Plan to be part of it. And even as we continue with the conversation, I know we are picking nuggets from the speeches of these ladies. If there's anything that has spoken to you, if there's anything that you have resonated with, please just post it in the chat. We would like to know what that is. If there's anything you have learned, a nugget you have picked, something that has spoken to you, something that has reminded you of something you can identify with, just post it in the chat. Let us also read it and get to experience what you are experiencing. So this is a pre-launch conversation. We have the launch event coming up on the 1st of November at the Trademark Hotel. So when we talk of beautiful people, these are the sample of the beautiful ladies who have authored, but you can be sure that that day is going to be a beautiful day. Trademark Hotel is a good place to be. You will love the place. Come celebrate with us as we celebrate these incredible women. So before we get to the session of questions and answers, I know partly you have answered this, but I wanted to be more specific. We have talked about the opportunities and experiences, but what key lesson, maybe just one or two, you as an author, as a co-author of this book, do you aspire your audience or your attendees of that day to take away with them? It could be a key lesson, 2 lessons, 3 lessons, very specific. What are you looking forward to someone carrying away with them on that day? And we get back to you, our First Lady, Janet Kariuki. You always go first. So tell us something about that.
Thank you for the privilege. It's really one to have to speak first. And thank you, ladies, for really sharing this platform and all our audiences this evening. If I talk about lessons, maybe I would say that as leaders, as professionals, as people, we do not sell time, we sell value. And sometimes as professionals, we do not have that in mind. And for me, the key takeaway is that you sell value. And the second one is my truest ultimate desire is that everyone wakes up every day to do something that gives them purpose, that gives impact, and leading such a team for all the leaders here, for all the organizations represented here. It's so easy because these are the truest people. So what will you learn is allowing yourself, allowing the people you lead to self-discover what's truest about them. And when they show up as that, then they become the best teams to achieve the biggest dreams. And I remember Vusi, the Bakwayo, one of his people, leaders from South Africa, he said that sometimes when you recruit people as a leader, you realize that they want to look like you, they want to be like you, whereas your truest desire is for them to complement you. How do you grow leaders? How do you grow professionals in your team to complement who you are? And I hope that is a sum of many, many lessons that we will learn when we come for the launch.
Don't I love that? Growing leaders who complement you, not who look like you. That's so profound. Thank you for that, Janet Kariuki. Natalie Mathenge, I know you have some promises of lessons in your heart. You want your prospective audience to know that when they come, this is part of what they will carry home with them. Other than a copy of the book and getting to network and interact with these all ladies, there is something they'll carry home. What is that?
Thank you, Dr. And thank you, Coach Wangari. I think for me, it's just leveraging on what Coach has said, because I even wrote it down. She said, we don't sell time, but we sell value. And what is value? And for me, when I look at the question of value, it's who you are at the core, who you really, really are. Because who I am, who I really, really am. You know, when I'm in my house, niko peke yangu, I'm here, my family, I'm comfortable. Who I am in that space is actually who I am when I come to work, when I lead, when I interact with others outside of the home. So I think the critical lesson is who you really, really are at the core. And sometimes we don't accept and acknowledge who we are at the core. Once you know who you are at the core and you accept who you are at the core, then and only then do you become a true leader, either a leader of self, a leader of others. Because believe it or not, who you are at the core, no matter how much you hide it, no matter how much you try and disguise it, will always, always show up when you're at work, when you're in leadership situations. And you may think that maybe you have mastered it, but it only takes perhaps a small situation. The ladies have talked about all their vulnerabilities. You need a small situation for that frightened young girl to show up. That person who was timid, who was just afraid to stand up for themselves, timid and afraid to do the right thing, or doing the right thing while afraid, for that person to show up. And you can imagine when you're in a position of leadership and that vulnerability shows up, it will either show up as a strength because you have acknowledged it, have known it, you have mastered it, you have spoken life to it and accepted it, or it will show up as fear. And fear is the worst thing because it can make you do things that you shouldn't be doing. Therefore, value is, who are you? Who are you really? What is at the core of Natalie? And when the spotlight is shown on me, will I be ashamed for that spotlight to be on me? If my name is emblazoned in the Daily Nation tomorrow morning, what is that headline going to look like? And will I be proud to stand up for that headline, regardless of what it says, because it reflects my value at the core? That's who we really are as leaders. So leaders is nothing fancy about a title. It's nothing fancy about where you work. It is who you really, really are. And like Coach Wangari said, it is about value. And value is at the core of every human being. What is your value? What do you value? Where do you place that value? How does that value show up? And when it is tested, how have you mastered yourself sufficiently at your core to overcome the weaknesses, but to stand on the shoulder of everything that is strong in you? That is what leadership is. That's my view, and I think that's the lesson. Thank you for that, Dottie.
Thank you, Natalie. This is getting powerful before it is started. I can for sure foresee that 1st of November is going to be a great day, great insights, great lessons that we are preparing to take away with us. I'll be a beneficiary, so I can boast of it, that on the after 1st of November, I'll not be the same. We get to you, Olive. I know you already mentioned slightly on lessons and insights to be taken away, but you can say something. What are you promising our prospective audience on the 1st of November in terms of lessons and insights to be carried away with them?
Thank you, Dottie. You know, I think you said it. I think being the first is the best. You say all the important points, and then now the rest of the last people now are left to say, okay, I add to what Wangari said, what Natalie said. Anyway, I think it's powerful to have such amazing ladies, Wangari and Natalie. Oh, may the Lord add to your cup and fill you even more, because your words of wisdom are phenomenal. For me, I think I will speak about learning. One of the insights I believe they will be able to get is learning to appreciate the people who have journeyed with you. Mm-hmm. You have a support system. Each of us has a support system. Could be your friends, could be your families, could be your teachers, lecturers, could be your boss who actually brought out the best in you when you actually didn't expect it. You know, you felt timid, you never thought you could do a specific assignment, but your boss pushed you to be a better person and kept saying, I know you can do it, and kept giving you all the hard stuff to do. And there you are complaining, now why am I always being given these hard things to do? You know, but you can be sure that is what has elevated you to where you are. And so learning to appreciate our support system, and while we appreciate our support system, is also learning to surround ourselves with a support system that will cheer us on. And so whoever it is that is your greatest cheerleader, keep them close to you. And as much as possible, watch out for those, of course, who bring negative energy. So just for me, it's just that insight that behind all these ladies or next to them, beside them, they have tapped on other ladies' shoulders or other gentlemen's shoulders, because I say even as ladies, we are not where we are without the men, because the men have provided us a conducive environment to thrive and to reach where we have reached. And so it's learning to appreciate and surrounding ourselves with that support system that will bring out the best in us. And so, yeah, there's a lot of stories about that, about who helped you, who held your hand, who pushed you. We've all been pushed in one way or another, and sometimes it is a painful process of being pushed. But with hindsight, you can say, "Thank God I was pushed. Thank God I got to where I am, because that guy or that lady just decided that I have to go this journey." So, of course, surrounding ourselves and appreciating those who cheer us on and having a support system. And I think just like one of our contributing authors mentioned last week, showing up. We just have to show up. We do not have the luxury to sit back and watch. We just have to show up. We have to put our best foot forward and do the best that we can. However we know it, let us just show up and do the best we can. That's you will hear a lot of stories about that, and just being, as Natalie say, our true authentic selves. Sorry, those are sensors. Yeah, and so and I like how Natalie has actually put it in terms of who you really are, getting that opportunity to actually introspect, have a meeting with yourself, ask yourself questions, and answer them, because I think all of us need that time to introspect and to work with our individual selves and be the better versions of ourselves every now and then. And so having the self-knowledge, let me use that, having the self-knowledge, which now moves me towards self-awareness. I mean, it's amazing. I have learned so much in this 1.5 hours. It's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I think those is. I mean, that's just a snippet. You can be sure that's not even it. There is so much to get out of the launch and just reading the book. So back to you, Dottie. Thank you.
Thank you, Olive. This is just a tip of the iceberg. More is yet to come. I love what you have said about appreciating the people that have journeyed with us. As you spoke about that, and I know someone else might be feeling the same, I flashed back to where I'm coming from, to where I am, and the people that have been there around holding my hand, helping me up. So I think it's really an important thing that we often forget not to do. So that has really spoken to me. And I want to believe there's somebody else within here that is feeling the same, that they've not done enough when it comes to remembering those people and just appreciating them. So we get to a session of questions and answers. I would like to give an opportunity to 2 or 3 people to say something. If you have something you want to say to this panelist, you want to comment on the conversation that we have had, just raise your hand. I will see you and call out your name. You can proceed and say something. You have a question, you have a comment, a compliment, whatever it is, just raise your hand. Once I see your hand up, I will call you out. Somebody is feeling like saying something, but not sure whether they should say it. Show up, say something. Jen Buria says, congratulations and thank you, Olive, Natalie, and Coach Janet. Great session, profound insights, authentic sharing, very natural and inspiring. Thank you, ladies. Any question for the ladies? Any comment to the ladies? You have done extremely well. We are feeling well fed. We don't have questions. You have spoken to us well. We are meditating on what you have shared with us, and we are already putting down a plan on how to execute some of the things that need to be executed. Catherine Nyaga says, great sessions, great session co-authors. So you people have done so well. So we are coming to the close of our meeting today. But before we leave, I would like each one of you panelists to just give a closing remark. Also take this opportunity to personally invite the people to the launch, encourage them to also get a copy of the book. This one I will do on reverse. So I will begin with you, Olive Gitau.
I had gotten used to being the last one.
Change.
You're confusing my head anyway. So thank you so much for that. I think I believe all in all is to encourage all of us to be confident to walk our journey in our truest selves, to be free to share who we are with others. And for you to have that freedom to share who you are, then you've got to be your truest self. You've got to value who you are. You've got to, what you say you are, who you say you are needs to match who you really are in the outside and in the inside. So just insights is we are journeying through life and we are learning from one another, and let us allow each other the grace to experience that freedom. Sorry, just to share, last week I was in a conference with ladies, and there's one speaker who said, ladies, give yourself permission to perform at 80%, because we are always looking to perform at 100% with all that we are juggling. And so I think I thought that was profound. I was like, Allah. So some of us who want to, overperform, it's okay. We can give ourselves permission just once in a while to, scale down. So just to encourage us that let us give ourselves permission to be our true self and to share our lives with others. Because when you share your life with someone else, they get to, they are also freed to share their lives as well. Because what I notice is a lot of us, I guess it's just the African setting. Sometimes we have not been cultured to blow our own trumpets, and neither have we been cultured to talk so much about ourselves. And that is why you'll find a lot of such books on remarkable women doing remarkable things have been written by those in the Western culture. But it's because our culture has not taught us to actually, speak about ourselves. But let us allow ourselves that freedom to speak and to share our life experiences, to help each other and to walk the journey of life together. Thank you.
Thank you, Olive. Before Natalie says something, allow me to read some comments here. Very inspiring, beautiful ladies. Great session, ladies, and congratulations. You are all truly inspiring and looking forward to reading the book. I really appreciate this session. It was inspiring to hear. Congratulations to the author. The book will for sure make an impact to whoever reads their journey, inspiration and challenges. Congratulations to the author. The book will for sure make an impact to whoever reads their journey of inspiration and challenges. Well said, Olive. Share your life with others. They learn from you. So those are comments coming from the audience. It just shows that we have done a good job, and at least people are picking something that can be helpful for them. So Natalie, would you please give us your closing remark and take this opportunity to welcome our audience to the launch and encourage those who may not make it to make sure they get a copy of the book.
Thank you for that, Dottie. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I want to start where my dear co-author Olive left off with the last question, and it's a question of gratitude. So I let me start with gratitude and just say, I think first and foremost, this is by grace. If we are all honest, it's purely by grace that we have had this opportunity and that you've given us this platform. So of course we start with gratitude to God and the Almighty for just having us step into this light. But more importantly, thank you to Zion Pal and everybody who's walked this journey with us. Thank you for the other co-authors. Thank you for everybody who took the time out of their day, their evening, their families on a Monday to just join on this webinar. Thank you. We've been told to say thank you to our support networks. So I'm just here taking the lesson and thanking my support network. I really appreciate that. In terms of just final comments, I think it's who you are is never really far away from how you lead. Just always remember that. It doesn't matter how much training you go through. It doesn't matter who you are really is never far away from how you lead. And leading being how you lead yourself, how you lead others, whatever you define leadership to be. Just remember who you are. It's never far away from how you lead. Please remember the lesson of the hummingbird. Genuinely, if I showed you how small a hummingbird is, you'd think I'm lying. It's smaller than the palm of my hand. And I'm not a very big person, and my palm of my hand is very small. It's very small. Olive is having a good giggle. So if you think about the lesson of the hummingbird, and Wangari Maathai talking about the hummingbird, your impact can be felt so far, and sometimes nobody appreciates you, nobody tells you. Do not imagine that you're not creating an impact. If you're on Kiambu Road and you pass Karura Forest, Wangari Maathai, got a few beatings on the head for that. She was a hummingbird against the Kenya government. When you pass the Uhuru Park along Uhuru Highway, she got imprisoned. She got her clothes torn off for that park. She was a hummingbird against the Moi government. So if you think about it, there are so many hummingbirds in our lives, and every single person who was on this call, whether you're featured in the book or not, you are a hummingbird, because to people, to anyone around you, you are creating a positive impact. And don't feel that because you've not been on this platform, that you have had no impact and that you are not important. You really are. And sometimes it's a question of how we look at people who thrive. Sometimes it's a question of how we define leadership. And like Olive said, sometimes it's about platforms that are given to people. And in the West, they give them a lot of platforms. And here I have to thank Zion Pal for giving us this platform. And thank you so much. I really express a lot of gratitude. And I thank you to everybody on this call, every author, because you are making an impact. The reason why this country doesn't crumble, in spite of what is happening, is because of people who make small impacts every day in small and big and mid-sized ways. So thank you very much. And please remember the hummingbird, and that who you are is never far away from the way you show up and the way you lead. And please come, let's have a nice fun night. Come, buy books, engage with us, tell us stories, get to talk to Coach, get a session with her, get to giggle a bit with Olive, Please come. We would really love to host you and would love to engage with you and learn from you. Over to you, Dottie, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much. Who you are is never far away from how you lead. Powerful. Thank you for that. Before we get Janet Kariuki to talk, let me just read some more comments here. Pauline Gikanga says, inspiring session. The book will impact generations. Thank you for sharing your life. That is from Pauline Gikanga. Linda Barr says, thank you for sharing. My takeaway, everything you do has an impact, reflecting on personal mattering, and finally, who I am, what are my core values. Natalie, Olive, Janet, thank you. Judy K says, absolutely inspiring, living your truest form and with good intentions. Powerful. So with that, we get to you, Janet Kariuki, to give us your closing remarks, and also just get an opportunity to invite this audience to be part of our launch on the 1st of November. Karibu.
Thank you so much, Dottie. And maybe picking up from Natalie in terms of gratitude, we are truly grateful. that time and your time is one finite thing, and you chose to share these 2 hours or hours of your life with us. We are truly, truly grateful. And having to experiences. And I think in terms of talking about welcome to share our stories, as we appreciate the people who've journeyed this with us. And as the Bible says that we are surrounded by a multitude of witnesses, your journey as a leader has a multitude of witnesses. Sometimes the witnesses don't say the best. Sometimes they encourage you, but they all contribute to the journey. It's just the lens you put to see what you're getting from the people to help you grow. And I'll just say that there is never perfect time. And as you keep saying, and especially if you're a leader, you perfection, you kept on building and being resilient. You always think you become like, I'll not share my story until, this is how I told myself, I'll not share my story until I did my master's. I did my master's. I'll not share my story until I'm a global leader. I got there. I'll not share my story until, like, you don't feel like you've gotten there yet. Just show up as you are. Come to that event as you are. Just come and hear that you don't have to be ready. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up as you are and grow in the process, because dots make sense looking backwards. They form beautiful pictures. But where you are currently, the only thing you have to guard is your thoughts and your actions today to align to your big, scary, hairy, big dream. And when you come, truly, you'll have surprises for you. Maybe from a coach, maybe a coaching session, you never know. Welcome so much. We'll be so glad to have you there. Thank you so much, Judy. Thank you so much, Natalie and Olive. Thank you. And I can tell you for sure, the hummingbird will be totally ingrained in my head. Mothers Union still not yet recruited. Maybe this is the time I'll be finally recruited into one. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have it all together to be all together. Just show up. Indeed, we will be showing up as you show up on the event day. We are looking forward to an exciting time. This has been a pre-launch conversation. We have the launch event coming up on the 1st of November at the Trademark Hotel. We have been promised many wonderful things, including wonderful people and a wonderful ambience on that day. You don't want to miss out. So plan to be part of us, even as we celebrate these incredible women. Rosemary Mbogo says, applaud to each of you. I'm truly impressed by your sincere honesty to virtues of leadership. And CPA Ann, very inspiring testimonies and lessons. Thanks. I now take this opportunity to give a very special thank to our panelists of today. You have done so well. That was a very interesting and yet inspiring conversation. Thank you for dedicating your time to be here. I loved your arrival time. You people made it on good time, and that has made this possible. Thanks to every person that has been part of this conversation. Those who just tuned in to listen to these inspiring ladies, we appreciate you. We encourage you to register for the launch. We have the link posted in the chat. If you won't make it, you can order for the book. We also have the order form available in the chat. And so that brings us to the close of our conversation today. But before we leave, allow me to also share some of the things I've been able to take with me. I've just learned today that self-knowledge precedes self-awareness. And that growth is not an event, it is a process. And interestingly, progressive growth is both negative and positive side of us. It has to be both, it has to balance. And then we learn very little from success. We learn a lot more from failure. That is very true. Thank you for that. And one of the things we have been promised that I'm looking forward to experience is a polished reflection of growth. This has been an interesting conversation. We are very grateful. And Linda Moria closes by saying, what an insightful webinar. Thank you, everyone. As we come to the close, allow me to close with a word of prayer. Father, we are grateful that your presence has been with us. Thank you for every word that has been spoken, that has been a blessing to another person. Thank you for the inspiration that we have acquired from this conversation. Father, we thank you for the event, the launch event that is coming up on the 1st of November. We declare it a success in advance in the name of Jesus. We thank you that this book shall be a blessing to the people that will interact with it. We give you praise, we give you honor, and it is in Jesus' name that I have prayed, and we can all say, Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you so much, ladies. It was amazing. Felt like I knew you.
Yeah, it was a good session.
It really was. I was nervous at first, but for once I was a middle child, so I was very happy.
Oh, are you a firstborn?
I'm a firstborn, so I was so happy to just be in the middle all the time.
And yes, I'm also a firstborn, so I was very happy to be the lastborn. Yes.
And the middle child became the firstborn.
Oh, see, and you read as well.
Oh, I'm Gary.
Hmm.